off. Ruth?
And if you want to, please join me in a short prayer. Dear Lord, don't let us misuse Christmas season. Help us to simplify our activities and traditions so we can focus on our celebrations all on your birth. May each day be a celebration of who you are in our lives. Let your peace reign in our lives as we seek to live in the light of your love. Amen.
Amen.
And we'll pledge to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Ruth. We have Keith Aldrich in via Teams remote. I'd like to welcome our newest member, who's much earlier than the person that she replaced.
Dan, thank you for noting that. I hope, Tony, you're listening.
We welcome Renee on board, but we've had the benefit of having Renee invest in her time and coming to our meetings, and I'm sure she'll hit the ground running. So we're excited to have her as part of our team, and we'll have even more new faces up here next month. We're excited about that. Had a successful caucus, lots of great candidates there, so it was fantastic. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Should be a celebratory meeting, right? End of year. Not supposed to have any additionals, but we'll have to talk about a few of those that fell into the cycle today. We'll go ahead and get started at the top of the agenda with Lee Grunemeyer, our EMA Director.
Actually, it's going to be Jason Army with the LAPC. So I'm filling in for Lee. He had a meeting to go to today in Columbia City. So we're asking for an additional appropriation to the fund 8155 for the amount of $2,155.52. This is a grant that we got through the HMEP grant. And we're just paying the bill for the class that we held.
We're just appropriating the money for them for the grants that they received. Well, it's reimbursable.
That's reimbursable grant.
Questions? Sure.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Ruth. You. Any further discussion about the grant or the training exercise that was already held? None? All those in favor, raise your right hand.
I like that emphasis.
Lisa's hand raised.
Thank you very much, guys.
There it
Thank
goes.
you.
6.
Nicole. Welcome.
This is just mostly bookkeeping. We had a murder trial in November and had a lot of witness fees. I have one invoice for $5,400. No way to really plan on how much things are going to cost and if the trial is really going to go this year. So I did as many transfers as I could. These are the two that I need your approval. So $1,400 from part-time money to witness fees. My part-time person ended up going full-time. My person that was on FMLA didn't return to work. So I wanted to explain that because we've moved that part-time money around a lot. And $2,500 from official records to witness fees.
That'll leave you well enough in official records.
Actually, yeah, I did all my claims for the rest of this year and I'm good. Some of my lines are zeros, but we're not in the negative.
We got this all done in a transfer, not
Yes.
additional.
Yes. And to be perfectly honest, I thought we missed the window for additional. So I was sorry. I mean, I called Kelly I just came back from medical leave yesterday. So I called Kelly a few times over the last few weeks. So I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
Technically, you did miss it, but I think they jumped through some hoops to make it happen, right?
That's
We got
okay.
you.
This is fine. Transferred, yes.
So, well done. I would welcome the motion. Ruth,
That's second.
Thank you.
That's on both.
let's
Yeah.
take them both together.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? None, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Who's that?
It was
And then
Rick.
Lee.
Oh, Bill and Ruth.
Okay, Judge Fee, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thank you, Ruth, for that prayer. And thank all of you for accommodating those of us who have these late claims. We never know what's going to come up. One of the big surprises in the past year is the spending increasing amounts that we've had to spend on translation. And we really have no options except to spend it. So we're asking you to fund a little over $3,000 in existing claims. These are for services already rendered.
That covers your estimated bill that you don't have an invoice for yet,
It covers everything except what we might incur today, because I understand claims close tomorrow or at the end of the day today. So we
So historically, there's certain line items that we don't put a ton in the budget, and we just see what the need is for the year because they vary quite wildly throughout the year, but we're just now in our minds that we'll have to do additionals when those special circumstances arise.
I can tell you that you guys did budget quite a bit more for next year for translation.
Yeah, that was part of the conversations. So, you welcome the motion? Any further comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand.
thank you.
Thank you.
And you're up.
Hey,
They're up.
Mark Angie?
good morning. Here for two things, a grant approval and to transfer money. So Secretary of State's office has approved a grant for me to buy new pool pads for the 2025-26 election. So I'd originally asked for it in my budget and then found out I got approved for it. So that's when it came in during budget time. Give you guys back that money.
Amazing to me that we're already replacing them. It seems like such a new investment.
Like us and one other county have the oldest ones in the state of Indiana. We started with them in 2016 and they just won't update anymore, so. But then the state had this grant, so they're paying for the whole thing for
No
us.
county match required.
Correct. So.
Ready for a motion?
Sure.
Somebody changes their mind. I'll make that motion.
Right.
I'll second it. Thank you very much.
Then the second,
Wait, we got
we'll
vote.
wait for Kelly.
Okay. Any other questions?
We're just doing the grant right now.
That's
Just the grant. Yeah.
Thank
Because
you.
the other ones. Additional. Okay.
We're good with that one?
All those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Now for the additional.
Okay. And so for the requirements of the grant, I have to pay for it and then they will send us the money, which I believe they've already sent us the money. Yes. So I had all the money in different line items in my election line items. So I moved it all to one line item so that we could send them one check to pay.
So we have to decide if we actually want to accept the money.
I'll move to approve.
Hey, I'll second it too.
Great. You? Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. I said this is gonna be an entertaining meeting.
That's it. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Hey, just a quick comment. So your election in your new space, how's everything flowing down
Really, really good, really good. And there was like some question on how we were gonna have people come in, like for early voting in that side door, in the front door. We had 8,000 people come in. We never would have been able to have anyone come in so we had them come in the front door and exit the side door, not one complaint. Out of like 7,900 people, no one complained.
Perfect.
Yeah, your office did a great job. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Wow. Great. Aaron's here. This is a little out of order. Yes, the commissioner.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm wearing two different hats today. We'll start with the job descriptions, which is a little bit easier. Then we'll move to the public defender stuff, and Jim Hansen is here this morning with me as well. So in an effort to scurry down here, I forgot my big old binder with all of the job descriptions. I just kind of wanted you guys to see how voluminous this binder was so you could understand how much time and effort went into this from all of your departments and Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy as well. So we went to the personal advisory committee and there was a positive recommendation to go ahead and improve the job descriptions. We did pull out EMS only because there was a question as to how we were proceeding with that. And there was also, there's an EMT, advanced EMT and a paramedic. And at this point in time, we do not have an advanced EMT job description. So we're gonna look at that a little bit more dependent on if anything was handled today. But everything else was fine. We do have several departments that have okayed their job descriptions. Most of the changes that were made were typographical errors. So those were sent back down to Wagner and Chile for them to go ahead and update those accordingly. But these all tie in with the salary update that we did this year as well. So the commissioners did pass them 2-to-1 as well. And so I'm just looking for a motion and approval on these so we can move forward and everybody's operating underneath their new job descriptions for January 1st.
So you guys wouldn't have gotten a copy of like the full job description, but yeah. But they don't have a copy of the list, so that's my bad.
Okay, so I have a copy of the list if you guys would like to see it.
All it, you guys can mess it around. All it is the copy of the name of the department and then their
The job
job
description.
description title underneath.
And then
it.
if
That
those
is all it
department
is.
heads then approve them, and if I haven't heard anything, don't hear anything, I'm assuming they're okay. But like I said, any changes that were made, except one department, which we did go ahead and get those edits done, were just typographical errors.
So we have a different approval on EMS at a later date then.
Am I reading that right? There's only 3 of them there. That were changes to? 'Cause they're all okay.
Yeah, so the list continues on. Yeah, there was not very many that had changes. Most of them were just typographical errors. Probably have gotten a couple more approvals since I printed that from some departments as well.
Forever changing.
Yes, it is. Depends on
And
emails.
actually, this, I mean, we just need, because you guys are doing the Wagner Irwin Shealy study, it's basically bookkeeping for us. Yes, thank you.
Excuse me, Dan. May I ask a question?
Yes.
Is this, you've only referred to departments, is this departments and offices?
Yes.
Okay, so there's elected offices are in there
Yes.
too. Okay,
You should have been given a file folder.
Yep. I received mine. yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. We will, motion.
So many.
Bill?
Second.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Okay, thank you. Public defender.
Yes. So, this is Jim Hansen. He is the managing public defender currently. He did last week submit our misdemeanor pilot program application to the state. So we are currently waiting to hear on that. We did submit it in time to be considered. Those counties that submitted it before December 6th had the higher priority of consideration. But he does have some things that were specified in there, and I think, Dan, did you get a copy of that and had some questions with like the moving of things around potentially and for the public defender office that we were hoping to put into motion for July? There was a copy of it in their packet. Okay. Jim, you want it?
I do have a more
Okay.
recent sort of specified, this is different from what I sent out before,
Was
but
it? Okay.
it lays out a little bit more clearly and gives some more context.
What's the timing on expecting to hear whether that we're in that or not?
The solicitation that the state sent out indicated that they would begin notifying people of participation levels in January. There's a couple pieces. There's going to be a mandatory form that we have to work with for some of the data that has not been developed yet. They're still working on it. And so some of the determinations are waiting on them to complete the process of what exactly what data submissions they're going to require before they move forward with, picking people to participate. But they said they should start having conversations with candidate counties next month.
Yes, so they did give us guidance on reporting and information that they are going to want. So I took that and I created a spreadsheet, so I've already been starting to track that information. I updated our PD numbers last night and right now we're looking pretty good. But we do have 10 public defenders currently. 5 of those have insurance, 5 of them do not. So if we are to move forward to a public defender office, obviously that is going to change a little bit on how the structure will look. You're going to have some paralegals or case managers in there. So it was my assumption, we had a public defender board meeting last week. It was my assumption that you guys will probably see us every single month with updates and things moving forward, possible additional appropriations. Just trying to get the ball rolling for a 7/1 update if it's all approved.
And this latest document is, this has been a work in progress for me for a couple of months now. I've been working these numbers all over the place. Part of the reason we're in such a good place for compliance for reimbursement is that we really have more defenders than we need for the numbers that we have. It's just that because we're decentralized, it's really hard to keep track of exactly where we are all the time. And I couldn't expect, she does an amazing job with the stuff she does. But that's where the full-time office really will be handy, because then we have people dedicated 40 hours a week to focusing on keeping our numbers exactly where they need to be. But we have too many felony defenders. Based on the caseloads, when I'm looking at what we're reporting to Indianapolis for our new case appointments, we have too many contracts out there. So what I'm laying out here is a way for us to begin transitioning toward that full office by, unfortunately for some of my friends, eliminating some of these contracts, moving that money to where it needs to be, so that once we do get to the point of having the full office, we have the money for the staff people that we need, and we can actually get that office going. Based on this cut, granted, I'm not, omniscient, but I've got it down to less than $20,000 of additional appropriations of what we already appropriated in order to even launch an office in July if these numbers get out. So I'm trying to be careful, but also be cognizant of, not having to miss something that we need to come back for more money on later. But I really think if we're careful and we do some painful things, in the first 6 months, we can actually launch this office in July without really having to have a lot more money by the end of the year. Plus, the amount of money we're gonna need in addition to what's already appropriated will actually be paid back to us in the additional reimbursement if we're selected for the reimbursement program. So that's why we're really anxious about this reimbursement program, because that could generate an additional up to like maybe as much as an additional 60,000 reimbursement over what we've been getting. So that could be a good thing for us.
A lot of misdemeanors, and those are not reimbursable.
I think it's a bulk of what we do, like about anywhere from 50 to 60% of the cases are misdemeanors. And we don't get reimbursement for defenders that do misdemeanors currently. So it's a pretty big deal if we can get this, and it's a 5-year pilot, right? So we'd have a 5-year commitment from the state.
What is a 5-year thing?
If we can get that locked in. So I feel like the more we're working it, now I will say with this transition plan, just for full disclosure, it's beneficial to me doing this. But the commitment here, one of the things that we're looking at in the transition plan is taking one of the contracts that currently exists and combining it with the managing PD's contract to create a double contract. The reason for that is my commitment is I'm going to not renew my contract in LaGrange County if we're gonna go through with this. Can't afford to, not otherwise. I would not renew my contract with LaGrange County, and that way I've got my full attention here. And I'm in the process, especially if we're committed to this process of winding down whatever remaining private stuff I have so that I'm ready for full-time engagement. Because that's really what we need. At the end of the day, for our PD office to take the next step is we need some people in the central office that are 100% committed to just taking care of that function. And that's gonna make things astronomically better for everybody. But that's what this transition plan does. It makes it possible for me financially, personally, to make those cuts so that we're ready for that. But it also pushes us to the point where our budget is not gonna really be loaded in order to actually launch that office, so.
I'm very excited to see what you presented because transition plan was causing me some heartache, not knowing how that was gonna roll financially. So I appreciate all your efforts on this because it is a nice plan. Looks like it makes sense. And I think your ability to lead the team to it is gonna be beneficial to us. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I was at the public defender meeting last week. And at that point, I had written down in my little notes here that for a year, you were thinking it was $50,000 that the county would have to make up. You've done more crunching and now you're thinking it's 40 for a year.
I've been up late nights pretty much every night since that meeting.
Well, it keeps me up at night because I like what's happening.
So we're basically, I'm going through and looking at, from my experience doing public defender work, what expenses are we really need to have accounted for? When it comes to next, 2026 budget, there may be a few more things that we need to kind of pop in there, things for depositions, those kinds of things that we need to be more conscientious and more focused on making sure we have line items for. But we really don't have the data yet. I don't at least have the data yet to really be specific about that. But I think I've been careful about making sure we're not missing money that needs to be spent, but trying to reallocate money that maybe doesn't need to be spent. So I just keep whittling on it. And I think this is about as close as we're gonna get. I've got it down as close as we can. But we do have, when I'm looking at the reports that we send in every quarter, we do a rolling 4 quarters of the new appointments. So we always have every submission has a full year's worth of appointments. We have, even with dropping 4 contracts, the other benefit though is if we double my contract, I'm at the full-time level, so I have more cases I can take than the other defenders would because I'll be at a full FTE level, so my cap goes up. But with me at 100% and everybody else at about 60%, we can cover the caseloads without those extra 4 contracts. And I feel badly for my colleagues that, I won't want to lose contracts, but really from a fiscal standpoint, we shouldn't be spending money on personnel that really aren't we're not really utilizing the full capacity, so.
I think you're right, Aaron. We'll probably be talking to you guys every month.
Mm-hmm. Yep, still putting it on.
Yeah.
Seeing you all the time, but thank you.
And you were here for a lot of those conversations, for the new folks that'll be coming in. It's something that council through budget process committed to being prepared for as of July 1st, should we get awarded be members in this pilot program for reimbursement from the state. There's been a lot of historical struggles and time and effort to keep that public defender office rolling under the individual contract system that we've been doing, and case counts and the direction things are heading in the future requiring us to look at a much more structured program for the county.
And we did, just so we're all aware too, it's kind of a fun place where we have two different bodies, you know, that we have to coordinate. So the Public Defender Board did approve the existing contracts, the 10 existing contracts at the budget rate for the year. We do have 30-day out clauses in those contracts. So part of what we're doing is this dance between the money side and the management or the administration side. So we're kind of, this is another reason why we'll probably be back a lot, is we don't want to do a 30-day notice to someone on a contract until we know the money side is being adjusted appropriately. And so we're trying to keep those two balls in sync. So that's just something else to keep in mind. I have already talked to a couple of people that are close friends of mine that do have contracts. So they're aware that there's some changes coming, and they were newer contracts. So they know that they're one of the, you know, they're going to be seen as expendable potentially. So we're working on trying to make sure people are making plans themselves, so it's not a surprise. But on the flip side, you can't really give that 30-day notice on any of these contracts. I've basically in this plan, we only have one contract that we would eliminate before it even starts. The other three would terminate at the end of the first quarter. So that gives us 3 months to kind of work things out before we have to make that decision if we want to go forward with that proposal. Again, this is just my musings. Take it or leave it as you wish, but
It's seasonality though for your volume, kind of at our time, right? Yeah.
I don't know. My experience has been the seasonality is week to week. You know, sometimes you see with the holidays, you know, OWIs or those kind of things pop up, which are mostly misdemeanor type stuff. But December as a month is generally slow just because the court tends to be slower. And there's more gaps. There's like IPAC meetings, so the prosecutors are out for a whole week, and so you don't have court or whatever. Otherwise, it's fairly steady when you look at the quarter numbers. I think the last document I'd sent out had the caseload broken down by quarter, and the appointments are fairly stable month to month for all 4 quarters. So we're pretty much, people are always misbehaving, so we're pretty busy.
And I think step number one is getting the commissioners and our building superintendent to go take a look at available spaces. And then once we have that, you know, stapled down, potentially taking a look at, you know, the administrative side of things with those positions that need to be created. And we would also need to have, and the IB, the Indiana Public Defender Council, they have, you know, the other job descriptions that we need for, you know, eventually a chief public defender and things like that. So, but on the admin side, for those paralegals or case managers, we would have to get those classified and thrown into our matrix so we know what we're gonna pay those people.
That would be a July 1. So we've got 6 months for those.
We all know that takes.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll get going on that as soon as we can.
Yeah, so for the new folks coming in too, I mean, there's a lot of backstory to state requirements in that department and how we get reimbursed for what we're required to do. So we can fill you in on that whenever, if you're not already aware.
I tried to add a little bit of that in the document, so there's a little context for you as well.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah.
Yep.
We're reading your mind. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you for the update.
Yep.
Appreciate all your efforts.
Commissioner President. Morning.
Very simple for me. At least the first half of it is an ARPA fund request from Boys and Girls Club, which is running a program through the goal at middle school. And they received a favorable recommendation. They requested $7,000. I believe in their presentation, our request to them was we might make more funding available for this program out of ARPA if they can move it into the district schools. This is a before and after school program. register middle school kids.
So I came forward with a favorable recommendation from our committee. For a motion.
So made.
I'll second.
Rick. Any other comments, questions, thoughts about the program? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6.
We will get that money out to them.
So we got a transfer request in here.
These are just cleanup items for equipment purchases, repairs. We move money around instead of asking for additionals. And we, as in Kelly.
It's was an and.
Pass
My,
it right on down.
my staff. I thank my staff very much. They do an amazing job of making sure all these numbers are where they need to be.
So we're defunding professional services contracts, which is a big line item for the Commissioner's office every year by 35,000 to balance the line items in the funds you have in front of you there for Xerox leases and equipment repair. Make a motion. Rick? Bill?
Sheriff's good.
You two are teaming up for a lot of names on the last set of minutes you're participating.
Oh, that was bad.
All right.
Recommend it.
Rick then Bill, yes. Further comments? Questions? None, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6.
If you guys would just keep doing it in order, all she'd have to do is copy and paste. So, we can
We like-
change it.
We like switching back and forth.
She doesn't do it.
It's more fun that way.
They're gonna be able to fix your steps before year's end at the sheriff's office. Is that smooth?
He's done.
The sheriff's steps.
Are they gonna be able to fix the steps before year's end?
They're busting it up
Are they?
today,
Yeah.
Really?
tomorrow,
Said I didn't see anybody there this morning.
I'm sorry, tomorrow.
I know you're all fond of the orange paint.
Yeah.
I
We
like
wanted
that.
to wait till we approved it before we start busting, obviously.
Yes, right.
Yeah, they're supposed to start tomorrow.
Good.
All right, moving into other business. You have the additional appropriation resolution 12-2024-01 for what we've approved today. No difference in any of the numbers. I'd welcome a motion.
I will move to approve.
Approved.
I will second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. Doesn't always happen like this. Not always 6-0. Yep. While we're handing that down, scroll to your next one, which is the transfer the unencumbered funds to rainy day funds. There's going to be a few year-end clerical things that we do here that we do every year. And we have to read that resolution 12-2024-02 to you as well. If you so choose. Read? No.
You asking one of us to read
I
that?
read it Friday and then again last night, so.
This is the same as we do every year. This is authorizing all unencumbered funds to move into rainy day, and the difference between last year, we had a couple of years where they allowed us to move up to 15%. We knew it was capped at that 2 years. It's back to the 10% level. We can move this year.
And then we will let you know what that number is after. First of the year, you guys will find out, and you guys can name
So, floor for motion for that.
I moved to approve.
Good. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, all's in favor, raise your right hand. 6. In favor of signing that one? Okay, next resolution. Current year is 12-2024-03, which is a resolution granting authority to reduce appropriations from the 2024 budget. So anything that didn't get expended that was appropriated can be reduced.
You can pay the bills.
Welcome the motion for that one.
Show me.
Yep. Thank you. Any questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. 6.
And resolutions do only require the run reading, so that's
So
case versus ordinances.
finally, resolution 12-2024-04, resolution for the transfer of appropriations from the 2024 budget for interfund transfers. Fund transfers shall be made in amounts shown or worksheet submitted to the council board once all necessary transfers have been identified. That's your end of year cleanup.
Yep, and that'll be no later.
Tuesday, February 11th.
Yep, 2025.
Okay.
That allows the auditor to do it without.
Again, that all 4 of those actions happen every year for end of year for the auditor's office.
All right.
Welcome the motion. Ruth?
I'll second it.
Renee. We got R&R on the board there.
All right.
Okay.
Problem is, there's been R&R on the board too.
It just.
3 hours.
Yes.
All right. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. That comes down, we have our monthly comparison reports for October and November.
She made extra copies. Oh, he's got them.
I've got them.
If anybody wants a hard copy, we do have those down here if you want.
Else need any copies? They're always in there sideways, so they're hard to read. I have to print those.
We will, I'll work with the class.
So that
Yep.
Got all the resolutions.
Did you want a hard copy, Renee? Okay.
So since we have some new people coming on, certain funds we track pretty well. Obviously, there's a reconciliation between the treasurer's office and the auditor's office that we have to, we have witnessed and reviewed monthly. We don't always have them in the month, it just depends on timing of the offices and such like that, but they stay pretty current for us. And there's certain ones that certain funds that we work off all these funds all year long, but ones that we work off more frequently or more to make note of, to keep a close eye on throughout the year. Our fund balances are transfers in and transfers out. Be happy to go through independently with you guys, any one of us that have been on council committee to help you out with some of those that we watch pretty closely every month. And there's usually a little backstory behind those. So don't want to bore everybody with those details right now, but made my little notes on here, so if you want to talk later, we can go through those, okay? So With that, if anybody has any comment or question on there, you're welcome motion.
Make a motion that we have Sandy October and November and
Take them together. Okay. Thank you, Ruth. Second.
We'll get some of these ones that we watch here. Finally. Holding their own.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. April minutes. Whoa, those a doozy, huh?
Again, I'm going to thank Leah because she's amazing at this. They were very, very long.
They were really long. That was our special meeting down
It was hard to hear too down there.
Yeah, Economic Development Corporation office. That was our EBSCO discussion. Well done. All that. Did anybody fire back any changes to you?
I didn't hear from
I was
anybody.
waiting to see if it was.
We were waiting on Ruth.
They look lovely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
As well as the November one. So we can take those together. If anybody care to make a motion?
I'll make it.
We don't have any recusals on that, right? We were all there
Correct, it was full house.
for both. Let me check November here real
Yeah,
quick.
that's what I was gonna say. Yes, I know it was, yes.
Yeah, I was remote, but I think we had a full body otherwise.
And you, yeah, you were.
Yep.
You were still on.
Okay, so no recusals needed. The practice shouldn't vote on minutes if you weren't there, so we asked for recusals on those if you miss a month. Welcome a motion to accept both as presented.
Nobody.
Yep.
Rick already did, they'll just.
Oh, that's
second
right.
it.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, that's quite all right. You can take it if you want.
You took the
Yeah,
second.
Rick and Bill. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Aye. Renee's
Oh,
recusal.
Renee's recusal. I'm sorry, we did just
Gonna take a
discuss
look
this,
at
didn't we?
Yep.
And then, if they're all approved, next month we'll have them printed for you guys to sign. We didn't run the printed ones this month, did we? It's okay. A lot of times we don't, it's okay. We gamble on whether or not there's changes. So. So we'll print them and just pass them through next month. Got it? Okay.
Okay, and before us, we have 2025 salary ordinance. Ordinance number 1024. Take a break?
Can we take a quick break?
Yes.
Would you mind?
Nope, it's that time we usually do, so we'll
Okay.
hit the pause button here and convene in 10 minutes.
All I can do is do.
You can turn your mics off if you want until we come back.
Take this off. Pretty low.
All right, we're going to reconvene here.
You can have Jackson.
That's fine. Yeah. Let's move on. Along the conversation on the salary ordinance, so we're going to roll through items 8 through 12 on your agenda here. Item 8, we have an appointment to the individual county board of health. And an individual to the county board of health, which is a reappointment of Dr. Rumsey.
Was this on?
The microphone. She's barely here. Are your microphones on?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Teams going?
Yeah, it's been going.
Can you hear Lisa?
Lisa, can you hear? She might have muted herself.
Yes, I can hear you. If you talk into your mic, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, she muted
She
herself.
was like going like this with your ears.
Okay.
I got 2 now.
Sorry.
Oh. So I'd welcome a motion for the reappointment of Dr.
Second.
Raise your right hand. 6. Appointment to the Fremont Public Library Board of Directors, Dolores Hallworth, and that's a reappointment of Dolores' term. Ruth?
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. 6. And to the Alcoholic Beverage Board, Randall Isles reappointment. Okay.
Second.
Rick? The Dan recusal on that.
So, I'm sorry, who was, her name was
Renee and Rick.
Lisa? Recusal?
Yeah, should I recuse myself too?
Yes.
All right.
If we all decide.
Oh, yeah.
And Caruso, Lisa Aldrich recusals. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
4-2.
We got 4 out of 7. That's funny.
Something that will play into our salary discussion is, I think you all received the correspondence on the Texas deferral court vacates the salary threshold final rule. So that was something that during budget process, we were notified. Aaron, you want to give a little backdrop on that again?
On the overturn?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the federal court in Texas overturned the Department of Labor FLSA requirement to have our exempt employees at the threshold of 656. So that is no longer required for the exempt employees. So it applies to 2 of our current employees that we need to discuss.
Good. So handle that through the ordinance. We don't have to
That's fine.
motion individually on that. Okay. Okay, and conflict of interest disclosure statements. We didn't get them.
Are they? Let me see. No, okay, they might be in. They're not in there during the.
Usually just handouts.
Okay, if you guys want to stop by the office before you leave, we've got them in the office for you.
Say we sign in.
We can do yours, yeah, we can do yours in, yep.
Probably a different one. Same form? Are they the same form?
I don't know.
It-
Are they the same,
They're the same and yeah,
but different verbiage?
no,
And then our new incoming, we'll have to get those signed as well.
yes.
No later than before our January meeting starts, we need to have those all in place, right?
I would like to, yes. And then there will be something new with those, but we can go over that with you. But they do have to be on record with the clerk's office. That was brought up at our State Board of Accounts, our outgoing meeting with them, which is new. New for us. We had not been doing it as well as probably 90 of the 92 counties in the state of Indiana. But we'll go over those details with you, what you have to do with that as well, so.
And can Eric and Bill do it yet today, or do we have to wait till January 1st?
Bill already signed his. He's
So
already
they've
signed
been
his.
sworn in.
They can be, yeah, they've already been sworn in and they can be signed at any time. And then we can go over the upload and all of that as well. So, yep, we just need them on record.
Not the old Bill.
We're not losing the name Bill. All right, so we're gonna jump back to item number 7 there. Ordinance 1024, your 2025 salary ordinance. This is the part I hate making everybody listen to me read all this stuff, but here we go. Steuben County Council hereby establishes the following salary ordinance number 1024 to become effective January 1st, 2025, and declares all former salaries ordained by the Steuben County Council null and void. Steuben County Council has adopted salaries based on the current Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy wage study, and those salaries shall be implemented effective January 1st, 2025. Any exceptions to the study are outlined throughout ordinance 1024 and are listed below. All salaries and wages shall be paid bi-weekly on a 26 pay period, with the first pay date of 2025 being January 10th, 2025. Steuben County employees' salaries are based on a 37.5 and 40-hour work week, except those on rotating shifts. Overtime will be paid after 40 hours of actual work per week as defined by the guidelines established by the Steuben County Commissioners and Steuben County Council in accordance with Steuben County Personnel Policy Manual. Compensation of elected officials and employees may include, but is not limited to, stipends, appreciation bonuses, health insurance, professional certifications, educational advancements, or per diems, regardless of the source of funds for which the salaries are paid. That's the first section. I don't believe there's any language that's changed in that except the addition of the Wagner and Shealy study from previous years. Seniority, as defined in the county personnel policy manual, is the uninterrupted length of continuous service in the employment of Steuben County in a particular department. Seniority for salary purposes shall not be automatically carried over from department to department. If the position of Steuben County employee is eliminated and as a result thereof, said employee transfers to another department within Steuben County government, then in that case, the employee's seniority may be continued by application to the county council. All of the benefits accrued by an employee who transfers into a different department within Steuben County government shall remain in place. That seniority section is not changed. The availability of funds, part-time, overtime, extra seasonal help. Elected officials and department heads shall not authorize overtime, part-time, and extra help unless the funds are available within their budget. Requests for additional appropriations and transfers must be submitted to the Steuben County Council before the hours being worked. Only under emergency circumstances shall the departments be allowed to work the time without having the funds in place. And the department head shall be required to obtain verbal approval from Steuben County Council. That language was adjusted in a few years back. We had some of that. Part-time wage exceptions, part-time hourly wages, all part-time employees shall be paid on a scale between $15 and $20 an hour. I'm reading off of this and not
Yeah,
this, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That was-
12 and $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was put back.
Based on experience and or education. These are reading true, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Exceptions for part-time hourly wages in 2025 are listed below. Health Department. Number 1, Public Health Coordinator, $18 an hour. Number 2, part-time STI, STD nurse, $24 to $27 an hour, 15 to 20 hours per week. 3, part-time coverage nurse, $14 to $18 an hour, 19 hours per week, 48 weeks.
So the reason that I went ahead and put those in there, even though some of them fall within the wages that you either will or will not approve,
the 12 to 20, is because those are very specific to what WIC has to pay. So that's why they were listed in there, even though they might have been within your range. Same with any of them down below. If any of them fell within the range, I'm sorry, that was the health department. The WIC was the same way. I made sure that because it was specific, that it was listed separately. So that's just a little FYI why that's that
So
way.
some of these departments run under outside of our normal pay matrix because they're like the health department is in this whole Indiana Health First program now. So they kind of got moved aside, but the program dictates their wages. WIC is the same way.
Yep, from that state.
Okay, so then, thank you, interrupt anytime. Under the exceptions, then the next one would be the Superior Court, part-time help, $24.61. WIC, part-time administrative assistant, $19.44. Part-time peer counselor, $19.44. Part-time nurse, $30.65. Part-time clinical assistant, $20.11. Nurse / IB CLC, $31.21. Okay. County boards compensation and per diems. County boards will be compensated per diem as listed below. Aviation board, $35. Drainage board executive and non-executive members, $50. Any member of the drainage board, including the county executive who is also a member of the Steuben DeKalb County Joint Drainage Board, the Pigeon Creek Drainage Board, or the Maumee River Basin Commission, and who is required to attend meetings of these various boards shall be compensated $50 per diem for attending these meetings. Each meeting of the above mentioned boards attended by a member of Steuben County Drainage Board shall constitute a separate meeting. However, in no event shall a drainage board member receive more than one per diem per day for attending meetings of the above mentioned boards.
So if they attend 2 meetings in one day, they still only get $50.
Yep. So health board, $50. Plan commission and board of zoning appeals, $50. Plan site viewing, $25. Zoning appeals site viewing, $25.
Those are the same previously. None of those changed.
Special compensation, assessor's office, under Indiana Code 36-2-5-3.5.
Do you really want to read the Indiana code? It is pulled out of the Indiana code verbatim. It was copy and paste. If they want to bring these up.
Then we can give you copies if you want, but there's training certification levels, compensations. Clerk of Courts Office, Indiana Code 3-7-12-22. Same, I'll just go through those if that's all right with everybody.
They're just statutory requirements that we claim, so.
Yeah. Okay, chief deputy positions is the next one.
Wait a minute, because you're looking off of the other one. There's 2 for the clerk.
Read up here.
I would just, if you want to read both of the IC codes, is the only thing I was saying. So it might be, is it different in there? Yeah, we ended up adding a second one for the clerk if you just want to read the Indiana code.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Yep, so the clerk of courts office also falls under Indiana Code 3-6-5-9.
Yep.
So chief deputy positions, yes.
Okay. You're good.
Chief deputy positions listed herein shall receive 85% of their elected officials' pay. Those eligible chief deputy positions are as follows: the assessor's office, the auditor's office, clerk's office, recorder's office, and the treasurer's office. The EMS department. EMS part-time employee holiday incentive program shall remain in place as stated in ordinance 1010. Stipend of $168 per pay period for 4 EMS supervisors, 1 per shift, shall remain in place as defined in ordinance 1010. Full-time positions, EMTB, $19 an hour. EMTA, $21 an hour. Paramedic, $23 an hour. Part-time positions, EMR, $16. EMTB, $19. EMTA, $21. Paramedic, $23. Full-time EMS employees shall receive an additional experience increase, in quotes, to their hourly rate of pay in the following categories for full-time EMTBs, EMTAs, and paramedics with outside experience. Increases shall be credited at half the actual years of experience at the current certification level and shall remain in place as defined in ordinance 1010 and is shown in the chart below.
I might need to modify that.
Yeah.
Marking that. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So full-time position EMTB with 4 to 7 years experience in
You keep going.
its increase is $1.50. 8 to 12 years is $2 and 13 plus years is $3. Those numbers are the same for EMTA and paramedic for experience. Part-time EMS employees shall receive additional EMS experience to the hourly rate of pay in the following categories for part-time EMTBs, EMTAs, and paramedics with outside experience. Increases shall be credited at half the actual years of experience at the current certification level and shall remain in place as defined in ordinance 1010 shown in the chart below. And those are the exact same numbers as the full-time position. $1.50 for 4 to 7 years, $2 for 8 to 12, $3 for 13 plus for all 3 positions. EMS Director's 2025 annual salaries shall be set at $90,150.75 with no service differential or stipend. EMS Assistant Director 2025 annual salary shall be set at $73,212.62. We're going to move on down, but I will say we will be having further EMS discussions, maybe even in the fashion of a special meeting to help address some things in the department to continue to be able to be competitive. Highway Department, full-time positions. Foreman, hourly rate $27.55. Mechanic, $26.50. Operator, $25.66. Truck driver, $23.32. Sign tech, $22.58. Labor, $20.90. Sheriff's Office, the Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy 2025 annual salary shall be set at $93,768.11. In order to achieve the 2025 annual salary for the Chief Deputy and bring the Chief Deputy position further in line with the 85% given to the other elected officials, Chief Deputies, the following steps will be taken. An additional $10,000 of the Chief Deputy's 2025 annual salary will be paid from the general fund. The Sheriff's Office matron's position shall be reduced by $5,500 from the Wagner, Herman, and Shealy wage study amount, and $5,500 shall be designated to the Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy position. The Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy position shall receive an additional $15,500 added to their 2025 salary over and above the Wagner, Herman, Shealy study recommendation by completing A and B mentioned above.
So he doesn't get the 10,000, the 5,500 and another 15,500. If it's unclear and you want me to reword that, let me know. But the 15,500 is by doing A and B. And if you would like that reworded.
Clean that up a little bit.
Okay.
Basically,
Okay.
it's 15,500 is the total.
Okay.
Employees within the sheriff's office earning their specialty certification shall be eligible for $350 per certification. Eligible certifications are as follows: accident reconstructionist, classification officers, drone operator, emergency vehicle operations instructor, evidence technician, field training officer, firearms instructor, gang identification, hostage negotiator level 3, Indiana generalist instructor, canine handler, physical tactics instructor, scuba officer, special response team, transport officer, and warrants civil officer. Following Steuben County employee salaries have been adopted for the year 2025 as specified in the Wagner-Irwin Shealy wage study, unless otherwise specified above, and are hereto attached to the 2025 salary ordinance as Exhibit A. Any Steuben County employee, including elected officials, not receiving an increase in wages for 2025 shall be entitled to a $500 appreciation bonus. Those county employees and elected officials are outlined in Exhibit A. There was one department that did not accept those. Any changes in the number of full-time employees or salary for 2025 shall be made with a salary ordinance amendment approved by the Steuben County Council. Now therefore be it ordained this 10th day of December 2024 by the Steuben County Council, ordinance number 1024 shall become effective upon passage for 2025. You have your Exhibit A's in your packet. Wow, that's a lot of reading.
I said, can you read that again?
Be speedy but clear.
Excellent.
I did add some
Marvelous job, Dan.
I did add some extra stuff just for clarity for you guys. I moved some stuff around. Some of it's the same as previous years, some of it's changed. And I know, excuse me, I know there's gonna be discussion on the EMS wages and the part-time hourly wages, because I do not have the part-time hourly wages for the EMS on there.
Dan,
Yes.
I just got a question for clarification. The first paragraph here says you're taking the adopted salaries based off the Wagner-Irwin and Shealy recommendation. Then under the EMS section here, you use a previous base salaries. Are we using the previous base salaries, or are we using the new Wagner-Irwin and Shealy recommendation? Just for clarification.
I'm supposed to have, okay, I want to talk about that with them when we talk about the EMS, because the Wagner-Irwin and Shealy study, they put the EMTA A and B category. So I need some clarification from you guys how you want that to be handled. Because there is a difference between those two, and we didn't have it before. So do I use, whenever you guys want to get to the EMS. So I'm gonna address that with them because of that study of what that did.
Let's just tackle that right now.
And you're gonna have to talk, with Will, I know, and Jason, and Aaron may need to weigh in on this, but I believe, am I correct, the EMTs were categorized in one category, and we don't have them that way now. The A's have,
Yeah, the EMTAs are certified to do additional life-saving measures. They can give certain medications that basic EMTs cannot. Their skill set's definitely broader than the basic EMT. So currently there's a $2 an hour base pay difference in those two categories. And I believe the WISC study put them all together at 2203. This is combining their skill sets into one.
Aaron, would you like to comment on that?
yeah, they did. So we essentially don't have an advanced EMT job description. We never have. It's just one of those things, when they were pulled out of the grid, they were differentiated when we went through this whole thing, how many months ago? So that was something that should have been discussed with Wagner-Irwin and Shealy when Jason had those interviews, and I don't know if it was or not. But when they came back, they only had the EMT and then the paramedic threshold.
And that's what we had in front of us at the time.
Yeah. So that was part of the reason why those job descriptions were not in the approvals, because of wanting to go back to them and seeing what they can take a look at with regards to those factor points and put a different scale in there for the advanced EMTs.
So isn't there a process that we can still work through while adopting this ordinance and make adjustments after we work through reviewing all that? Because we need that to be in place, right, to make an adjustment there.
Yeah, and he's right too on this. It does kind of contradict itself. So the 2024 wages were put into this full-time exception. So we would want to classify them differently here in accordance with the Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy. And then if you guys make changes down the road with a special meeting, then that can be done and you can do it retro if needed as well. I just don't know which way you should put in there.
You're saying the Wagner, Irwin, Shealy has it at 2203? Is that true?
Yes.
Jason, can you come up here, Matt, please? Can you, you're here and earmark your advanced employees based on base needs? Roll it now. Safety, resolve, Fort Wayne Fire Department. So we got two, right? Yep. All right, and this is the Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy study that was provided to us, correct?
I think-
Budgets.
So that's one of my old spreadsheets.
It's this year.
Yeah, but that spreadsheet has been revamped over and over and over again to make it more simplified. I actually have the study here with me if you want to see it. Do you want to see it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, spreadsheets are ever changing.
I apologize, put a lot of work into those forms.
Okay. So right here we have the EMTs. So here's where they're at. And then the paramedics are on the next page. So you'll see the difference. So it should be actually here. You have several paramedics that are over and above the threshold already. So they essentially would be entitled to that $500 increase. But there is a few different ways that we could figure things, which could be a discussion later on. One, and I don't know if you want me to go into it now, but yeah.
Jason, you have another comment?
Yeah, just for clarification, the reason why I was asking those two numbers is because it's going to put the employees in two different categories, whether they're eligible for a experience-based pay raise for years of experience versus they're eligible for the $500 appreciation bonus. So that's why I was trying to get clarification, because it's going to drastically differentiate which category they fall in.
Yeah, so when we were taking a look at things, yes, there are a lot of the paramedics that do not qualify for a raise except for that $500 increase that was applied to the rest of the county positions that were not getting an increase. Another option that could be done is take everybody down to that dollar amount and then refigure the longevity and their experience pay on top of it. So that's where Jason and I were taking a look at it, where those paramedics that would otherwise not be receiving a raise for 2025 and only getting that $500, they would essentially see a minimal, at least something, some sort of raise on their hourly rate. So there's just a couple different ways that we can take a look at that. I just don't know anyone.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
So it sounds like we need to start from the beginning on this and create a job description for advanced EMTs. Needs to start there. That way you can make your decisions moving forward based on that and the adjustments necessary. I think with all the moving parts, trying to decide this today would not be my opinion. I don't feel comfortable doing it with a new board coming in January. And as somebody stated, that we can go back and back pay once it's all figured out in retro. So with that being said, That's my thoughts on it, because there's a lot of moving parts. Like, I thought this was our spreadsheet, but no, this is our spreadsheet.
Just the one that I heard.
So,
And I would say there's some, since we set budgets, there's some new market forces out there that need to be
That's a
considered.
nice way to put it.
yes,
And I would ask that maybe we even call a special meeting of council to just focus on EMS.
So do you want to, the first of the year with the new people on
Yes,
board,
yes,
right?
yes.
I just think out of fairness and respect to get some new eyes on this and continue the conversations that we've had. Nothing against EMS, you know, the message conveyed here is that it will be looked at and it will be repaired and it will be fixed. We just have to go back to the beginning, and now we need a job description.
Yeah, and it has to start there, like I said, and then from there, you know, I think working through this discussion with the new members on the board too will be good, because they'll get a lot of historical of how we got in the situation we're in.
And I don't think it's gonna take much to tweak that job description, because they can perform additional things that an EMT can, so.
So that can be requested, we can have by January.
I can have it to you by tomorrow if you'd like.
January's.
I'll start the process today, yes, absolutely. But in terms of what Jason, his initial concern was,
I do need to let them know.
the $19, $21 and $23, like that was changed by what you guys did. So even though it's gonna be changed again, essentially the correct rates that are for 2025 should be reflected in this.
In this right here.
So we need to make that adjustment.
I need to make that adjustment.
Based off,
Yes.
Of the Wagner Erwin and Shealy.
which that's that one you handed me.
So that's your language for a motion, would be with the contingency. That adjustment we make.
He's asking if you're going to make a motion for accept the salary ordinance with that caveat.
So, but that has all EMTs at the same rate, right?
It does.
Where's the hourly rate at there?
Okay. But so Jason understands, with that being said, anybody that was over and above already would not go down. They would stay where they're at and qualify for the $500, right?
Yeah.
Well, you said there's the same rate. No, right now they're 19 and 21, so there's a $2 differential, but full-time and part-time is the same.
But if they're currently
Right.
in the 2024 made above this,
Right.
they're not going to get cut. They're going to stay at 2024 and receive the $500 appreciation bonus.
Right.
Retro, or change it now based on.
When do we issue which one?
Right?
First pay period of January?
Actually, the $500 will be dispersed. It'll be added into their wages and it'll just be throughout the year, unless you guys change it and you want it as.
Just don't want to issue it and then give the raise and then get both.
That change.
So
Well, yes, that is a question also.
I would say
You have to decide which way you want it. Do you want it in their wages or do you want it truly as a bonus?
You can.
I think the way we passed it as council was under their wages.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
I think I'm ready to make a motion if.
I don't remember specification.
Aaron, is there any impact in if that bonus, appreciation bonus is issued as a one-time or throughout the year? As far as from your department?
No, if you do it like a one time, like a separate check even, we'd obviously have to work with payroll to do like a special pay sort of situation. Or you could just span it out between the 26 pays and that's fine
Saying they
too.
don't really feel it though.
Right.
Well, the only caveat with paying it on one lump sum is it could affect some people's tax category or payroll for that month. If they're close enough, it could put them over the threshold and then the tax implication.
Yeah, that and, when would you pay it? Like, that's another thing as well.
Wife talking to me.
Well, and then another thing
It's a good
is,
thought.
if the $500 is built in and they get it every week, then if budget time next year, we decide to do no raises, then that would have to be back out of their wages. I hate to see that happen. But that's the
tricky
way we
part is
did it,
gets
yeah.
lost and forgotten.
Right.
So we're looking at a $500 inflated wage next year
Right.
from the real wage.
So you'd have to determine if you're gonna do one lump sum, when you wanna pay it and what those specifications are to pay it. So like if somebody leaves employment and they were eligible for that $500 increase, maybe they hadn't gotten it yet, are they still gonna get it or on their last paycheck, or what are you gonna do there?
Yeah, you could divide it into two. That would have less chance of tax application and split it up in
Yeah.
over the course of the year.
Do one
I'm just saying until we sort out what we're doing in EMS, we should probably wait to issue that first one. You know, get through an EMS meeting and then see who's eligible and then get it paid.
Yeah, because you have several in EMS that are currently with the Wagner achieving wages as they are right now, eligible for the $500 increase, dependent on how it's figured. Like I said, you can take a look at their hourly rate and you can take it all back and then put their experience pay on top of it. Which then would do away with the $500 increases.
There's 9 people in that one department that. Yeah. Well, I like that strategy if the rest of the council does. Hold on issuing that until we sort out our EMS meeting and get it issued maybe in two sections.
Yeah, we can have presentation.
You don't have to ask me. Just shove me aside.
The motion would have to be with by that.
All right, so talking with Erin and looking at her spreadsheet, full-time positions under the EMTB would be 2203. EMTA would be 2203 based on Wagner, Irwin, Shealy, and paramedics would be 2475.
Okay, I'm gonna ask when we're,
It's right here. It's right here.
okay.
That's on the full-time positions. EMTB, $22.03. EMTA, $22.03 as it's stated currently in WIS. And then paramedics is $24.75.
Okay, yeah.
That's based on WIS. So moving forward and approving the salary ordinance today, I would entertain to have that conversation to change those numbers to match at least what Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy says we should be paying them. And then when you guys going into the first year, sort out the job descriptions and make all the final changes, and then you got you can build off of that.
So in the motion for an ordinance exception right now, get that part in there correctly. Start with.
Because we still got this to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So you want a motion just for the EMS?
No, let's wait and do it all.
Let's talk about the others.
Okay, so
Before we do, what are you guys wanting to do for part-time hourlies? Because I didn't drop that in there on that for part-time wages for the EMS.
Me personally, I think you leave the part-time pay alone for right now and bring that into your big discussion that you're gonna have in January regarding this.
So right now, do we have an EMR? We don't even have an EMR anymore. Right now,
It's still an option.
Still an option, we don't have any employed.
okay, but that was on there initially
Yeah, it's a
at
state,
16.
yeah, it's a state granted waiver for permission to operate at that level if need to for personnel. It expires July of 2025 currently unless I renew it.
all right, so yeah, to your point, Bill, I think
Okay.
I think we have to handle that up in our meeting as well. This is part of the broader discussion for the part-time.
Tonight?
No.
In your broader discussion in January.
Okay.
Ask for clarification again.
Yes.
So I got two new part-timers coming from outside organizations who requested $27 or $28 an hour. They've accepted the temporary offer at what we currently pay and waiting to see what this is gonna do. So we have a time frame recommendation where they will know what the answer is gonna be moving forward.
We're gonna leave today with a scheduled meeting.
And are they bringing outside experience, years of experience in also
Yes.
that might take them to the 27 already?
No, because their outside experience will be cut in half since it's not here.
Ah.
They both have multiple years of experience, but it'd be cut in half. But they do both work for our competitors and are gonna take a $5, $6, $7 an hour pay cut to come here part-time.
You're talking just part-time.
Well, currently, yes.
We're gonna trust in your leadership to keep that department together until we can get a handle for you again. We've stepped up a couple times for this and we're gonna meet again.
Okay.
Okay? Have confidence.
I'll get you a date.
Okay. On that one-page handout we printed off. So that FLSA requirement being no longer, that impacts county park and EMA. We need to decide if we are, what we currently adopted, going with what this study says, or taking it down. So the county park one was unique because they had fringe factored in there.
I'm right here.
Okay. Right in front.
Just in case.
So that can be kind of allocated as we there, but yeah, needs to be discussion on that.
As I understand it, we no longer would be in payroll and him taking it as a benefit.
Well, I understand he could actually be planted right in the WIS study.
Now,
Yeah.
So the WIS study actually came back higher than the FLSA requirement. So, but you guys still approved the 58,656. And then wanted to have the fringe benefit taken, taxed on his paycheck. So that is something that we can do through our payroll system. So the WIS study is 61,437.58. I had seen some numbers where somebody had taken $10,000 off of that, and then his actual wage was 51,437.58. I know that was discussed at one point in time, but then we decided that we couldn't do that because of that FLSA requirement. So we have a couple different options here. You could leave it at the WIS study dollar amount, that $61,000 amount, and tax the amount, as the home fringe benefit. Or you could essentially deduct that $10,000 off the top of his wage, which would then make his salary 51,437. I believe he would receive more wages if you did the first option, if you took him to the 61,000 and then did the fringe benefit, but that is completely up to you guys.
And then he doesn't have a chief deputy though.
Correct. He has an assistant.
What does that do to that?
very close.
Yeah, I was thinking they were close to begin with.
Yeah, so the assistant superintendent and event center coordinator came in with an external midpoint of the 51,332.74.
Because of this. Yeah.
Say that again? The midpoint was 51.
Or the event center coordinator was 51,332.74.
On
But
his
the-
exhibit A.
Because we couldn't make that.
Yeah, right, which was, we were about the FLSA because it was such an increase and then WIS actually came in higher.
You can leave it where it's at.
Because you got all that fringe on there as well.
And, you know, per legal counsel, the housing fringe, it does meet the test, that county council can decide not to do the fringe. So it's just decision to be paid.
I've slept a couple days since we've had our workshop. What's it currently at? Can I ask that question?
Right now, where you guys settled it, 58,656. Plus, we have it set in there with a housing fringe at 10,000. So he still makes his salary, and then he's only taxed, he's taxed on an additional $10,000, so only he pays tax on that 10,000. It's not added to his salary or anything. We put it in as a fringe, so he pays tax on that. Because he has the house. He pays nothing for the house, or any fees for the house whatsoever.
Our options are change it or leave it.
Yeah, and I think any discussion, I think leaving it is still with fringe factor is still a big show of support for the job he's done out there.
I agree.
From previous year's wage. Not that I don't want as many people as possible right on the WIS study, because that was my goal all along, so I'm with the discussion.
And the, excuse me, if I may, the 58,656, that was per those federal guidelines. And you guys passed it based on that. It just so happened that just recently, within what, last,
They overturned about a month ago or something.
yeah, that actually got overturned.
So that was a wasn't a county council number, that was a fabricated legal requirement number. I'd like to take these independently as motions before we get to the ordinance adoption.
I make a motion, we leave county park as what we voted upon or it presently says.
Okay.
Less than the housing.
Yes, 58,656 valuation as a state $10,000 for individual homes.
I was getting 68.
Effectively, but yeah, I'm being taxed on 68 effectively.
And it's getting the benefit of that.
Right.
Exhibit A.
It won't be.
Oh, okay,
It is.
all right.
Yeah, that's why I think
Thank you.
if you do the WIS and you got the fringe, then he's fringe above the WIS, so.
Right.
Okay, so we got a
I'll
motion
second
on the
that.
floor. Got a second, Ruth? Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. At 5?
Rick's opposed.
All right, thank you. EMA.
Same situation here. There you go.
Fringe.
There you go, yeah. So he was taken up to the 58,656 because he is an exempt employee. And so, that was what was approved. However, since it was overturned, we don't have to go by that anymore. The WIS study came in at 57,597.74 with a difference of $1,058.26. Leave him at the 58,656 or take him down to where the WIS study was at.
Personally, this is outside of these individuals' controls and I hate to take mine away from them.
we've progressed this far in our decision-making, and I'll make a motion if you're ready for one, so we can carry it further.
Yep.
I make a motion that we leave him with what was decided at 58,656. With you, I don't feel we should take money away this late in the game.
I'll say that.
Good. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand.
6.
We go back to EMS real quick. I hate to go backwards here, but something's not making sense to me, so. In honor of Christine, I'm gonna ask some more questions. All right, on our salary ordinance.
She might be.
Then we have Exhibit A. EMTBs are listed at 2203 on Exhibit A. Advanced EMTs are listed at 2318 on Exhibit A. And paramedics are listed at 2475 on Exhibit A. So, to me, maybe some of the systems are already in place in the pay differential between advanced and basic. But why is it written on here as such? Because these numbers match that spreadsheet that I have, that I pulled out, that is an old spreadsheet. So I guess nothing's matching and it doesn't make sense to me.
Essentially, the ones that are listed, not in Exhibit A, but on the actual salary ordinance, those are your new incoming people. So that's where they're going to be at. Your salary ordinance exhibit lists where, you have several that are outside of the scope where they already make over and above. So that's where you're kind of getting the skewed numbers. That makes sense?
It does, but
Because-
it does, but it doesn't.
Because of their experience.
We got 2 advanced EMTs, correct, Director?
Yes.
So I'm just bringing it up for discussion. I don't have anything further to add at this time, other than it did make sense.
So, Aaron, can you repeat the Wagner, Irwin, Shealy numbers for EMTs and paramedics?
Okay, so at this point in time, EMT A and Bs are at 2203.
Okay,
Paramedics, 2475. The exhibit, you do show some of those people over and above that because of their current experience.
So the exhibit has specific people.
Yes.
yes, it does.
So in looking at the exhibit versus the ordinance, if you have new incoming people, you're not gonna take a look and say, okay, well, they filled this person's spot, so we're gonna bring them in at $30.39. You're gonna revert back
The
to
ordinance.
what is shown on the ordinance.
Because you decided if they made over and above currently what Wagner, Irwin, Shealy said, they would not lose anything, they would stay there. And then that also keeps that experience pay in there. And this has also been factored with the Wagner, Irwin, Shealy numbers. I don't know which one it is. I want to say might be 3039. Would that be? Okay, that's one I was thinking of.
That's a current salary, that's a current hourly rate for Rodney and Heather.
Those are current salaries? Okay.
I have a document that shows you a better view if you want to print it out and hand it to you. It lists them currently with their years of experience and education added on.
This one?
I've made so many, I don't know what it looks like.
That gets clarification point, Bill.
Yeah, so, because if I take Wagner Irwin Shealy 2475, and I'm just gonna use one of the paramedics that's been here for years and years and years, and add in that person's experience increase, it may get them like maybe an 89-cent bump. So it's still gonna get that increase.
Right, that's with I recalculated.
86 cents.
86 cents, it gets them an 86-cent increase. And then no, and that technically would not get him the appreciation bonus. So he would come back, he would stay at the 2475. Plus, he would stay at this experience pay because you're wanting to keep that. It seemed that minimal increase. And yeah, we can get you guys, was that right, Jason?
That's, if we take the study by face value, that's showing people that are not eligible for raises.
Yeah. So the one that I was referring to specifically in my head is this one. See how.
Brought up and we're gonna tear it apart January.
What we don't see there is the experience that goes into those specific positions.
Right here. So we already have it in there.
Yeah, Bill was just, so the clarification point was there are specific positions with those pay adjustments in there.
So with all that, what we talked about before, 2203, 2203, and 2475, based on list numbers that were provided to us, move forward, then in January, this is all going to be dissected again and put back together.
I just wanted to show you a specific one I was doing him. He stays at 2475. And then with his.
With some new eyes.
Yeah.
I do have to correct these, because these were. Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, can I move down to the third point on our sheet here?
Remember what that dollar amount was? The third plan on the sheet.
4,000. Oh, 40.
Full amount.
I wrote down like $4,000-ish.
Little bit, yeah.
I like that itch.
Okay, so
I'm gonna write that down, $4,000-ish.
I did, I put it right on there. So in regards to that position, we've got a legal opinion that even though it got gracious from the commissioners to bounce it back to us, but actually the commissioner's action was the final action. That needs to be part of the ordinance.
I cannot change that salary as of after December 31st. So if you want it to stay the way that it is, it stays. If you want me to include it, I have to put it on the salary ordinance.
Based on legal opinion, it's right here.
Yeah.
You've only got one other lever you can pull there to reconcile that to net zero, but
Just need to figure out the total dollar amount.
I have it in the other paperwork.
But I think at the time that we set that, not verified or okayed that.
They approved it
yeah.
and pushed it on to the council thinking you could or you could not.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure in your situation, it wasn't a shall, it was a may. But in this drain discussion, this is different. And it is, if the commissioners, if he supplies the commissioners with that information and they approve it, it's more of a shall.
Yes, by the county executive, yeah. versus the fiscal.
Put in the 4,000.
So we need a motion.
That was.
Okay. That's how you work.
Didn't sound official, but.
Does that motion have a second?
Second it.
Bill? Any other discussion?
So Kelly, you'll figure it out the adjusted amount and make that change
I will,
based on past information that was provided.
and I'll use this Indiana code. I will drop that in there.
Okay, thank you.
So
Okay.
with the dollar amount originally stated,
Yeah.
no.
She's getting it straight in her head.
I get it straight in my head, and then you guys need to make sure that this is what you want for your motion. And then you can approve it or not, I don't care. So Ruth's motion is
Put it in.
to put it in the salary ordinance.
It still comes from the perpetuation fund.
Correct. Comes from the perpetuation fund with the amount originally stated. Per this Indiana code.
So are you,
Is that what you're?
is it going to go in his wage line or is it gonna go into a stipend?
It would be similar to the way, and it would be placed.
Stipend pay, right?
It is a stipend.
It is, and it would be placed down here underneath these exceptions, or I'm sorry, yeah. Where we have
All the different stipends for assessors.
per Indiana code, right? So you'd have the assessor, you've got the clerk, and that one would get dropped in there.
That will be brought up yearly then.
Correct. Yes, it is annual, same as all the rest of them.
Current stipulations.
Correct. Those numbers could change every year, depending on what is submitted to the commission board. I mean, the more they find, the higher the number.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 4. Dan and Rick. See, they're not all 6 of them.
They're not.
Back to salary ordinance. I would welcome a motion for adoption with contingencies, or stipulations.
Contingency.
Oh,
Maybe.
we won't go sign it today. We're gonna have to stop in and sign it at your office between now and the end of the year.
That's fine. That's fine, yep, and you guys, we can make those changes per your stipulations. You guys can review it, make sure that I have it correct based on what you guys agreed upon.
You can go back up to us.
Yep, and you guys can step in and sign it.
So any correspondence, if there's anything in those corrections that doesn't look right, reply all so we can figure that out because we're on a timeline now.
This require 3 readings today? Since it's an ordinance.
Oh, yes, it does. Thank you, Bill. But you can still do all 3 readings with stipulations.
So if I was to say, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept ordinance 1024 on first reading, include this additions and corrections. Does that do it?
As
As proposed to us today with additions and corrections. We're adding the surveyor part, we're correcting some wage parts.
I'd like to see the motion just at least say to which departments the additions and corrections were.
Oh, okay.
So you've got EMS, county park, EMA, and surveyor.
So with the corrections of the EMS full-time wages,
If you go in that specific, if you want to just do EMS.
okay. And addition of the stipend for surveyor. And, yes, true. Yes, that's what I said.
Okay, so
you asked, well, let me go back through it because you asked me to also clarify that line for the sheriff's office deputy.
clean up on that language,
Yeah.
A, B, and C.
Oh, that's right. You can do that with just, yeah, you can either list that department separately or you can list
If
it
you
with it.
drop the C and just have that be, so this will accomplish this or something like that.
Yeah. I started to write it out.
Okay, can I restate your motion?
Absolutely, you can.
I'll take a stab at it. All right, so we have a motion on the floor to adopt 2025 salary ordinance number 1024 with the following contingencies. Under sheriff's chief deputy position, we dropped section C just for language clarification, that we address the county park as stated, leaving the FLSA wage as we previously adopted, doing the same for EMA, and including the corner perpetuation stipend for surveyor.
The EMS wages.
And then the EMS.
Updated wages.
Sheriff, county clerk, EMS, EMS and surveyor.
Yeah, EMS, EMA, county park, surveyor, sheriff.
Second that.
Second from Bill.
And are you keeping that as Ruth's motion? Or yours?
Yes, Ruth's motion.
And it's just restating.
I'm just trying to get clarification. Okay, any further discussion? Knowing that we all have to reconvene, get this signed.
It's something that I should really be involved in voting. I gave my opinion on a couple of things. I'm not sure I made real good decisions on it since I'm not that involved and I don't have a lot of experience in what's gone on this in the past.
You can no vote. You don't have to recuse yourself, but you can just not vote at all.
I just abstain.
You can abstain. Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. 5, 1 abstain.
Suspending rules, second and third reading today.
We have a motion on the floor to suspend the rules, so we can have second and third reading today.
Second it.
Bill? Okay. All those in favor of suspending the rules, raise your right hand.
Should.
I should just abstain all the way through then.
Okay.
So 5-0. Okay, we have a motion for second and third reading.
Okay.
I'll second.
Ruth?
See, Lisa was gonna give.
Oh.
Is that Bill?
We still
Yep.
raise your hand.
Bill and Ruth. Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. 5-0. Okay. Good job. We have some work to be done to finish up, but
We'll make those changes very quickly. I can tell you that that number for the surveyor is $4,042.20.
One more time, 4,000.
$42.20 equals dish.
Yes. And that is for the August 19th commissioner minutes.
That's perfect. Thank you. No, you can just put that in anyway, an extra $42. Add a dish. All right. We are at the bottom of our formal agenda.
Are we? We're getting close.
Moving on to correspondence. So Soil and Water Conservation District, Auditor's Office forwarded us that information. They do have a meeting tomorrow, I believe, again. They had their contractor breakfast. So you have minutes, financials. And Purdue Extension Office with their annual report. Very well done. The County Economic Development Corporation, the December Outlook newsletter. Soil and Water Conservation District full board meeting agenda for tomorrow's meeting and their fall and winter newsletter. And you saw that our HR administrator said we have no biweekly claims forms for November 24th.
Yeah, because of all the reimbursements we received, so they covered the.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then you had a form in your packet for your estimated lit tax distributions, which is right on schedule. And pages going to find a second. You got something for me?
Couple things. One, we wanted to talk about or go ahead and do the appointment for the EDC. It does expire December 31st of 2025. The only thing about this is you don't have the new board members.
Right.
It's the only thing on that. So whatever you guys want to do.
So their meeting would happen, their January meeting would happen after our January board meeting. So it's not like we necessarily need the position if the board meeting unfilled if we waited. And I think even though that's a liaison appointment that I think requires quite a bit of historical background and experience on, I think it would be very nice to have that discussion as to the liaisons. If you guys are all in the middle, we could maybe handle that one in the Angola EDC appointment in January.
No, I'm talking, you told me Angola. You're talking about Steuben County.
How about both?
Oh, you are talking about both of
Yeah,
them.
because we'll have an Angola
We will have an Angola.
appointment as well.
Yeah.
Is that okay with everybody?
Fair.
Okay, all right, so we'll hold off on that.
Yeah.
You have legislative conference, February 4th and 5th down in Indianapolis. We've always made some really positive headway by being down there in attendance. It's our opportunity through Rick Ring and through EIC and through Rick Scheib's involvement to know what the legislators are working on. This is a budget year, biennial budget year. There's some major discussion items going on down there in Indianapolis, so that'll take impact on our county. I think we need to be in their ear a little bit about, pushing, like, talk to some people involved with the Public Defender's Office. Obviously, road funding, obviously, tax reform, structure, code. And, we've got Tony as an advocate down there, but, just so the incoming are aware, you've got the interplay between state and county and local governments, and state likes to get reelected in those positions. And so they like to show that they've balanced a budget and got a surplus and done great things and are fiscally strong position. A lot of times the way they do that is by pushing things down to us at a county level that we can't fund without increasing taxes. So having a voice down there that will advocate for not putting county in unfunded mandate situations, to word it nicely, being in their ear all the time about those things. So you'll get a lot of information on what they're discussing. You get all of the bills coming through, both coming from the House and Senate. And being down there, then it's like before we go down, we try to pre-schedule our time with the different legislators in different offices to make sure that what's best for Steuben County gets heard as they go into their discussions. So if you can make it, it's a great one to make it too. We'll need to let the auditor's office know for reservations.
We'll get information out to all you guys on it. I'll pull it off the website and get it emailed out to everybody.
And my involvement with, since Dan was kind enough to nominate me for a position on AIC board, I get to attend some annual meetings or bi-monthly meetings. But anytime you really want to get a hold of AIC, Dave Botter is our executive director down there. Pam Coleman, past auditor here, serves the AIC. But get a hold of me if you can't get a hold of them. I'm able to get their ear a little better now because I am on the board. So I can get a direct line to David or the staff. Talking about this AIC conference, this legislative conference, I would also recommend I think Christina's taken minutes now for the committee for Rick Ring. I would recommend if you guys have any interest in the legislation and what's going on to get your email submitted. Either Christina can do it or whatever to Rick Ring. You'll get notified of it's to be where it's almost every Friday, if not every other Friday, is where they've been doing a phone call in to discuss that. So if you guys are interested in anything, they're always looking at whatever affects county government, whether we should get behind it, whether we should oppose it, all the way through, commissioners, council, auditors, treasurers. I mean, sheriff left, even the sheriff, they help out once in a while, but very good. Rick Ring does an excellent job trying to keep everybody up. Ryan Hoff is our AIC legislation counsel that is at the State House literally every day, listening to what's going on, listening to bills, seeing which one he needs to be involved with. So
go on to AIC's website and subscribe to his legislative minute.
Yep. There's also an AIC app you can download, which will give you some information whenever it's updated. I've been a little disappointed in that app, but so yeah, a lot of information coming. Again, it's a biennial budget. The governor's looking at trying to mess with property tax. It's all going to affect every one of us some way or another. If they reduce, we got to pick it up somewhere else or cut services.
Very nice to have you in that position.
Thank you for pushing me there. Reluctantly, but.
Be careful if you sit at the same table as I do and I have nominations.
So let's see. I'll have to see when that meeting's coming up again. Be careful if you're attending with me.
Thank you.
Thanks,
One more.
Dave.
You guys need to decide on another date for another
Yep.
meeting.
We got a few on here. Let me know if I miss anything. Thank you from Mussers for the funeral. Council. Groundbreaking ceremony, I think today at 11 o'clock, right out at,
Missed it.
we did. All right.
Yep. Yeah, Terrace Ridge.
Yep.
Yep.
The incoming, I'll have the council meeting schedule, right?
Yeah. I think I did. I think we sent them everything, didn't we? I sent them the entire, or Zia sent them the entire packet,
Perfect.
all the meetings.
Thank you. You. And I have one last thing, unless you have anything else for me. Okay, let's go ahead and set that first. So for a special meeting for EMS, is there be nice to have this in December? I know it's crazy time to get things scheduled, but is there a time that we can all agree
Well,
on?
if we have it in December, we have our new people on board. That's why I almost think it has to be in January. And Bill, that's gonna be a problem for you because you just rescheduled already, right?
I'll be back for the January meeting.
You will be back for the January?
For the 14th, but we're talking about maybe having a meeting before that also.
I get back here on Friday night, I believe, and I'll be here till Tuesday night. Or Wednesday night.
So you're back on the 10th?
Or do we want to have it on the 13th?
That's what I was thinking. It's a commissioners meeting.
Eric?
Commissioners meeting is the 6th and the 20th.
Oh, it is? So, yeah, I got a cycle now that we're jumping into the new year. It is for
I'm
sure.
not sure. Partially uncommitted. I heard something's going on 25, officially got invited. So.
20th a holiday, so the commissioners is the 6th and the 21st.
How long do you think it's gonna take?
If it goes like budgets, a couple days.
Oh, gosh. Sorry. Did I look exasperated there?
So the 13th is open, since there's not a commissioners meeting, if that would work for everybody.
Not that I don't want Bill here, but he can always vote via Teams.
You're not here on that day. Sorry,
Got to check with my wife, Sherry made my flight, so. I think 13th I'll be here.
Okay.
Your meeting's on the 12th?
14th.
The next day.
I'll be here 13th.
That'd be 2 days back to
Okay, I'll
back.
be here.
You want to do it 8 a.m. or 9 a.m.?
9?
I may not physically be able to be here that much. I don't know.
9, you say?
I like a little bit of prep time.
Sure. 9
If
o'clock
that's
on the
okay.
13th?
I'll go for 8.
I'll be
You
here.
were 4 o'clock.
No, I won't be here.
No.
Sorry, that wasn't very nice.
It's up to you guys.
Yes,
So would you be okay?
Yes, you
Eric?
That's good.
Did you hear?
Yep.
Okay. Renee, you can be remote?
Possibly.
Okay.
Is Lisa okay?
Lisa's?
that'll be fine.
Okay.
It's,
Been awful quiet today.
she has been.
Okay.
So special. I have those words. I don't have that word right, do I?
No, it'd be
It's not a special
regular.
day.
Oh, that
It'd
will,
be a-
that will.
That will be a
that will be a
special
special
meeting.
meeting,
No, I always have that wording.
So our,
These are special meetings.
These are special meetings.
Budget meetings are
It'd be a
regular.
regular.
every meeting except budget meetings are special meetings.
Okay.
That's all we're required to do.
So we will meet on the 13th at 9 a.m. Special meeting regarding EMS.
Commissioners, that work for you?
And then we'll still hold the other meeting then on the 14th, so you guys will meet back to back. Keep the 14th as,
Does that create any advertising issues for what we adopt out of the EMS?
it'll have to be, that can be a, whatever we do will be a salary ordinance amendment. So we won't be able to, I'll have to see. Probably it would be February,
Right?
unless you have another special meeting.
Probably have to have 3 readings on that again.
Yeah. And then we can go back and make corrections retroactive. Okay. Anything else come before council? Commissioners?
I am leaving with some of the newly elected. Ann's going down, Rick's going down, Renee's going down, Bill, Eric, we're all going.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
So I'll be leaving in a little while, so we can.
Rick, it was a bonus getting to have you in on another meeting.
Thank you for,
I genuinely mean that, especially with the salary elements and
Yeah.
all your expertise on that experience.
wonderful job, Tim. These are rough meetings.
Thank you.
We try to keep everything going straight.
I'm gonna kick it off with Bill.
Did you say you're kicking off, Bill?
Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna ever replace all you've lent to council. got some big shoes to fill and,
Literally.
it's meant a lot to me to have you on this board and been an excellent leader and partner with me and being the vice president. And we're very excited about your new opportunity and why you're moving on, but you're going to be sorely missed.
Sense of excitement, sense of sadness. Really enjoyed my time up here. And I'm really looking forward to take what I've learned the last 4 years here. How can I apply that to my new position moving forward? This has given me a great understanding. It's going to allow me to be that better communicator with our elected officials at the city of Angola. But to the new ones coming in, good luck. All are going to be fine. Back in 2020, a little fun fact is we had 3 new members, didn't we, Lisa? Lisa, Isa.
We sure did.
So we had Lisa, Isa, and myself all come in new at the same time, and the 4 veterans at the time really took us under their wings, and they never once turned down a phone call when you needed to make it, whether it was 6 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night. It was great. But no, I am happy with the professional relationships, the personal relationships with the employees that have been established. Hands down, we have some great employees of Steuben County Government. Granted, we may not always agree, but that's okay, right? That's okay because that brings resolution. And so moving forward, I feel that my replacement's gonna be able to bring that aspect of maybe what I'm taking with me to the council on the public safety emergency services side. And I think that's gonna be big, that he can sit here and continue to convey that side of things. So best of luck to you all. Merry Christmas, everybody. I did that without choking up.
Like a family.
Lisa and I have Christmas gifts for council and commissioners. There's Erin, she keeps moving, she says. Back here, so get stop by and we have cupcakes to help celebrate Christmas and Bill's time here.
Thank you.
So stick around and visit if you care to. Commissioner Howard?
I have one more.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Lisa.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
One more item to put on your radar.
Okay.
We're very close to having the engineering service agreement executed with NIPSCO, which is a requirement of a $1 million contract. You will need that first installment probably right the 1st of January. So that will be an additional appropriation. So be thinking about which line item that's coming out of. And I know you don't like additionals in January, but you're gonna have to, I would hope you would make an exception for that.
We've had 8 months to stew on it, so.
Exactly.
My goal is to have it with the commissioners on our next meeting.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up.
That's all I have. Yeah, Merry Christmas, and thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Move to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Jared, keep up your last meeting tonight.
Okay.
Good job.